Hello and thank you for joining us. Welcome to Airbus in Toulouse. This is the Airspace Customer Showroom and I'm going to show it to you with somebody very special. We're going to have a Q&A at the end, and if you have any questions, please pose your questions on the chat function on the Twitter channel or your YouTube channel. But first, let's have a look at a video. Follow me. A little bit about Airbus once we fly over the facilities in Toulouse. This is the corporate HQ university, and it's where some of the 130,000 global workforce are based. We also have presence in the Americas, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and Africa, and also the Pacific, making Airbus a truly global company. A recap of our achievements so far in commercial aviation: over 20,300 orders and 13,300 deliveries. And 170 of these have been in 2021 till the end of April. A lot of them from this Henri Ziegler delivery center. And we are actually flying over the Maurice Belland site, and the rectangular building that you see on your right is where we are right now and where we're going to explore. So without further ado, let's explore. So this is the entrance of where we are, and we're just going to go and explore the inside of it. So this is the Airbus Customer Showroom. It was opened in 2000 and it's immense. It's over 8,600 meters in area. That's bigger than a football pitch, or for our North American viewers, that's bigger than a soccer field. And here we have life-size models of the aircraft, of all aircraft models. And here on my left is the A350, and here on my right is the A380. This place is a working environment. Over 250 airline and customer meetings take place every year, and this encompasses over 1,000 meetings every year. So it's a very, very busy place. Customers come here to look at IFE, lighting, color coordination, seats, monuments, all manner of things that go inside the cabin. It's a very working environment where people can visualize, touch, and feel all sorts of things. Now, there's a new addition to this center, and that is a very special aircraft. And I'm going to speak with somebody who can tell us all about it. She's an expert in, she's a director in cabin airline marketing, and we'll introduce her right now. Her name is Christine de Gagny. Christine, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Christine, tell us a bit about yourself, first of all.
Sure. I am French-Canadian. I joined Airbus in 2018. I worked on the C-Series for 10 years prior to that. And when the Airbus came along, they were looking for people who knew the aircraft, so I took the opportunity to move to Toulouse. I've been working here for 3 years, and today my job consists as to visit the airlines in Europe and explain to them how great and better are the Airbus aircraft, and now that's including the A220.
Super. Before we go any further, can you give us a bit of a recap of all the milestones of the A220?
Sure. So Bombardier launched the program, the C-Series, in 2008. And it later came into service in 2016 with our launch customers. So the A220-100 started with Swiss, and then the A220-300 started with Air Baltic, and both of them on the same year. Then in 2018, Airbus joined the program, and since then we are benefiting from a great momentum commercially. Our order book has doubled, and we are now have a really comfortable order book of 649 aircraft, and that's among the 25 different customers. We have delivered so far about 150 aircraft to 9 customers. Our latest addition that we welcome this month is Air Manas. Those operators operate 425 routes all over the 4 continents, that is Europe, America, Asia, and Africa. So very soon with that momentum, you'll have a chance to fly and have your own wonderful passenger experience.
And the aircraft that we're seeing flying right now, that's a special aircraft, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is FTV-1. FTV stands for Flight Test Vehicle. It was the first test vehicle. So this, what we see here, is the first flight. It happened on September 16th, 2013. It's very emotional, very important to me and to all the employees, because we were there with our launch customers during the event. So. It was
beautiful aircraft.
Exactly. And the aircraft that we're welcoming here to showcase the capability of the cabin is, in fact, FTV-1 that we brought here. So when the program was awarded Transport Canada certification, this aircraft was retired. And then when I joined Airbus here in Toulouse, and I came into this wonderful space that's the Airspace Customer Showroom, there was obviously something missing. So Airbus joined forces, so the people in Toulouse, we worked together to expand the center to make room for it. Then we worked closely with Mirabel to make sure that we could get to FTV-1. We worked with the Bombardier Flight Test Center that's located in Wichita, where it was retired. And then we were pretty innovative in the transportation, because we worked with Mobile in Alabama that have a setup. So they have boats that travel parts between the United States and France. So we hopped on a free ride all the way to France, and that's how I got here.
So Christine, we're just seeing some images of how the aircraft were transported.
Yeah,
so
that was 2 years and a half of work, actually. You know, getting all the aircraft here, and a lot of hours, but an amazing teamwork.
And that aircraft that we saw in the video, this is how.
This is it. Yeah. So it's fun because it brings all the history. It's not just any aircraft. It is the first aircraft ever produced.
Super. Well, perhaps you can take us inside and show us around.
With pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this door, first of all, it looks pretty realistic.
It is, and in fact, what's very important to notice is the nameplate. Every aircraft have a nameplate, and you can see that it's heritage. It is from Bombardier, and when you look closer at the serial number, you can see indeed that it's the 50,001. That means it's the real first aircraft. So we're really proud of that, because we're also conserving the heritage from its Canadian origins.
So basically, that's the stamp to mark that this is actually a real aircraft. It was the first aircraft, in fact.
Exact.
Okay,
now
let's go inside.
Yes.
Wow.
What do you think?
Well, you know, the first thing that strikes me, Christine, is that this is very spacious and airy, and I have to remind myself that it's actually a single aisle.
It is, and you know, it's interesting you say that, because a lot of our customers, this the first impression they have is how roomy it is, and some of our customers affectionately called it the baby A350 because of all the spaciousness. And one of the key contributor of space, actually, are the way we designed the walls. So if you look, for instance, on this side, you can see the walls are nearly straight, and because of that, we were able to include a lot of windows and very big windows. So it gives the passenger a panoramic view of the outside, but also it brings a lot of sunlight inside, and with all that natural light that reflects through the cabin, it makes it appear even bigger, and it also customers have said that to us, that it de-stress their passengers, actually make them feel more comfortable.
So that's a lovely surprise for passengers that like to have an airy cabin. What other surprises have you got in store?
Sure. Well, come and have a seat. What do you think?
Well, another first thing I noticed that it's quite wide.
It is, actually. It is a key feature, and it's something unique that the A220 offers. Because you know the advantage when you design a brand new cabin is you can decide how wide the cabin is. So what we decided is to design it with criteria of people of today, you know, of what people want today. And when you look at feedback, of passenger feedback, a lot of customers wish the seat would be wider. And we've achieved that, actually. So these seats are up to 2 inches more. So it gives you the ability to reposition yourself, but also not to be too close to your neighbor that you probably don't know.
And Christine, one thing that I notice is that every row has a window. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, every row, or sometimes 2 windows per row. So we wanted this cabin to be very, very bright, but also guarantee to the passengers that if they pick a window seat, they'll actually have a window.
Which is fantastic for a traveller like me who likes to have a window seat and look out the window. So this is fantastic. Lots of people like to be or remain connected on board. What can you tell us about connectivity?
Yes, well, the 220 have already certified 3 different options of connectivity. So yes, we are connected. We also offer IFE, so in-flight entertainment system. Again, also we have several systems already certified, which is a great record for an aircraft that's not even 5 years in service. So we're really attentive to our customer desires and needs for designing their cabin. And this tool here, like if I may, will be helping us doing that, because we have to think here. We see different products today, but having this tool here, it's guaranteeing that it's always going to be up to date. So we work really, really close with our suppliers that help us showcasing their products, but we have to think about the sales cycles. You know, some customer will come here, they've never been on a 220, they're curious, they're not sure about the product. So seeing is believing, it's feeling the space. So it helps for commercial discussions. Then you have customers who've signed the deal and they want to come here and try out. So here, for instance, they cannot try out the different seat models and make a choice. And you know, it's always better to try things in its environment.
Fantastic, and presumably that's what people do when they have the meetings, or the customers that have the meetings, that's what they do. That's
exactly, exactly.
What other surprises?
Sure, that's one of my favorite. Let's go. So, one of the phases that is very stressful when you go and travel is boarding. You know, you always wonder, will I have place for my carry-on? I don't want to have it in my knees or on me, you know, my coat and everything. So when we designed the 220 cabin, we made sure to go big. So we wanted to make sure that everybody has space. So no worries, you know, because you can put a lot. You can put your roller bags, but also all your duty-free and your winter coat.
And just to be clear, those are standard cabin size
oh yeah,
luggage.
yeah, totally no cheating here. Yeah, and some of our customers actually charge for a second bag. So, you know, they wouldn't do that if it was not possible.
Okay, what next?
What next? Well, it'd be great to talk about the lighting. If you see right here, we have colors. So if you like a color, well, we can serve you, because we have about 16 million choices to configure the aircraft. Lighting is becoming more and more important. One of the reasons that airline will choose to have colors in the cabin, first is that some colors, based on studies, will help to cope with jet lag. So different phase of flight may change different scenarios. But also it's a way for the airlines to show their brand. So right here, what we're showing is the Airspace cabin brand, which is the blue and the purple. And finally, it can just be for fun. So I have one of my customers that actually have a setting for Christmas. And whenever it's the holiday season, the aircraft is flying with green and red lights.
Wow, wow, that must be spectacular.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
Well, I'd like to show you one last item. It's at the back. So there's one thing that's very great at Airbus, and it's unique to Airbus cabins, is that every product includes an option for people with reduced mobility for the lavatories. So as you can see, the space is very, very tall. I'm 5'10", and I still have a lot, so the ceiling is very high. But also what you can see is that it's very roomy. And if there's a passengers that requires assistance and we need to bring them to the toilet with an aisle chair, the aisle chair or wheelchair will fit completely in it, and then we can close the door and give full privacy. So what that makes that unique is that our competitor, this space is too small, so the door can close, and so the crew will hold the curtain while the person is there. So, you know, it's not a great experience. And at Airbus, we believe that we should be inclusive to all passenger needs, so it was important to make sure we had this option to be offered.
And Christine, that's not the last thing that you've got to show us,
I have a last surprise. What I'd like to take you now is to see the cockpit, because it's wonderful.
Okay.
So the A220 Cockpit is unique because it contains all the latest technologies, and it's spacious. But what makes it very unique is that it was designed by pilots for pilots. So these two pilots had a career in aviation, and they took everything they liked and discarded everything they didn't like to make it easy to fly and most safe. So people who know well the Airbus products will see that it has the side stick control. It's a fly-by-wire aircraft like all the rest of the family. And you'll see all the big screens. And here we see the radio tuning. That's one of the innovation that the pilots came in. Traditionally, the radio is always set on the center pedestal. So you have to look down when you change the tuning. And that's something that takes your eyes off the windows and down, so they put it in front of the glare shield, so it increased situational awareness, because every time you use it, it's up right there and you can look through the windows.
Thank you so much, Christine. That was very informative. And now I think we are ready to take some questions from some journalists,
Sure.
perhaps. And I'll just remind our journalists who are watching that if you have any questions, please pose your questions on the chat function on the Twitter or YouTube channel that you have. And we'll try and answer as many questions as we can, as many questions as time will allow. So go ahead and ask your questions. The questions are coming in through here. So first of all, we're in an Airbus customer showroom. When will the A220 have an airspace cabin?
Well, the A220 cabin really fits already in the Airbus cabin DNA, which is called Airspace, because it shares a lot of elements of the DNA. So, for instance, it's very spacious. The bins are really big. The windows are extra large. The seat width is wide as all the other platform. We have smart monuments, for reconfiguration, to increase capacity. We're connected, and we have clean space. So of course there are little elements that we plan on adding, but we'll do it incremental as time goes. But right now we feel that the cabin really is the best it can be, because the customer feedback is extraordinary already.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Now we have a question from Jan Koscinek from Air & Cosmos, and his question is, can you stretch the aircraft?
I tried, no. Can we? The A220 has a lot of potential, and you have to think about its life. It's not even 5 years into service. So, of course, any product improvement will go through the Airbus product policy. And as new technology arises, and as we get customer feedback from the field, we'll look into it in a timely manner.
And Just from an operational point of view, you said that the cockpit was designed by pilots, for pilots. What kind of feedback have you had?
Amazing, amazing. There was this funny story with Swiss where I was told that you could not talk to the pilot before they go in the simulator. So they really like to fly. I'm in a nice position when I had to do also a lot of demos, and some of the pilots also told me that it's like flying, because there are two modes, so there's direct and normal, if we want to go into details, and they say when you fly direct, so you're not in the autopilot, they say it's like flying a sports car. So, and during demo flights, yeah, you could see, like, you know, they were testing it pretty well. So it's fun to see that they have fun, you know, piloting the aircraft, because it's just so easy. Everything is made easy and intuitive, so they can enjoy it better.
So there's no name or media, but I have a fairly good idea who it could be from. Are you planning to add any more seat or IFE supplier options to the A220 catalogue?
Of course. I mean, this is just the beginning. What we have here, you know, it's going to keep on improving and increasing. And we want to include the IFE. Right now we don't, but we're in talks with our suppliers to provide the products, because we have to think here, it's not just an aircraft showroom, it's a supplier showroom as well. So we have a really great partnership. Some of the suppliers have supplied already products. Yeah, so we'll keep on growing. I mean, we already have 8 seats that are certified on the 220. We have 3 IFEs, 3 connectivity systems. You know, we are listening to our customers. We're working hard with our customers to make it happen, and we'll keep on doing that.
Fantastic. And we have a question from Addison Schoenland in the US. What happened to the other flight test aircraft?
What happened? So we had 7 aircraft. 5 of them were A220-100, and 2 of them were A220-300s. So of them, the FTV1 is here. FTV2 is still used, and FTV7 and 8, so those are the 300s, are still in use, because as we keep on wanting to improve, you know, we have the aircraft to test things on, and that's something that all OEM will do. The other ones, FTV3, we donated it to ENA, which is École Nationale Aérotechnique, as a tool to learn through the studies. And then as for the other ones, they are retired, so they're still in our inventory. We are looking for what to do with them. It's part of our business plan, but I can't disclose further.
Okay. You mentioned about how light and airy the cabin was, and it certainly was, and it seemed to be a lot of it because of the light, light coming in through the windows, and the windows do seem particularly large. Can you say something about that?
Yeah, they are actually bigger than a 777, so they're wide body windows. It's the biggest windows on a single aisle. They're 11 inch by 16 inches. And
that's for people that like to sit by the windows, that's obviously a beneficial thing because you can see more out the window.
Exactly. Some of our customers also use this feature as ancillary revenue, so they'll charge more for window seats, and they've actually noticed that their passengers are now looking which aircraft they're flying, and once they know it's the 220, they actually go for the window, and they've showed me statistics, and it just keeps on increasing year on year how much people enjoy the window seat of our aircraft.
Now this is a good question for those that have it all but don't have it all and want it all. Can I configure an A220 exactly as I want it, and are you planning a private jet based on the A220?
Well, the corporate version was actually announced, and we talked about it at eBase, I think it was last week. So yes, the ACJ220 exists. We can talk about a private aircraft, and it's available. Actually, we have shown pictures also. The fuselage of the first ACJ220 is now on production in Mirabel.
Fantastic. And in terms of airlines flying the aircraft, can you repeat again how many airlines are flying the aircraft and how many airlines have actually ordered the aircraft?
Yeah, so flying, there are 9. I'll try to remember them all. So Swiss, Air Baltic, Air Canada, Delta, JetBlue, Air Manas, Air Tanzania, Korean Air.
Can you say that backwards?
Yeah, so, and then we have 25 on order, 25 customer total so far.
Sure. And the backlog is a pretty healthy backlog, right?
It is, it is. It's a very comfortable position. The aircraft has demonstrated that it's really performing well in terms of fuel burn consumption. So as you know, it's 25% less fuel burn than previous generation of aircraft. And it's demonstrated also, even in crisis, how resilient it was, because it was the aircraft that was flying the most. And it helped our customers survive the crisis because of its economics.
And just to go back to the customers, I think it's worthwhile saying that it's not only legacy carriers, but it's also newcomers.
Of course, of course. Yeah, the aircraft has such great versatility in the way we can customize it and the way it's been designed. Yeah, some of our customers are legacy carriers, others are lessors, or low-cost carrier, and we have with Breeze a startup. So we're pretty happy to have a wide range of customers, and it's show the versatility how the A220 really meets all the needs an airline can have.
Now, of course, we can't hide the fact that we've just, well, we're still in a pandemic, and the pandemic has been, stopping people from traveling. So how have you managed to do a virtual tour? For example, we did a real tour right now, but when people can't travel, they can't do that. So how have you managed during the pandemic for that?
Well, the cabin marketing team has had a great initiative. They teamed up with the video team, and because we have this amazing facility here, we were able to do 360 recording of all our aircraft. But the 220, we didn't have the mock-up now. So now that we have it, we'll be able to add that. And yeah, we do private session with our customers that through online videos, and then we walk them through, and the quality is quite impressive. Like, you can really zoom and see the details. Even though they can't sit on the seat, they can really have at least a 360 view. So yeah, we're happy to announce that we have that available for our customers.
But when the travel permits, then I guess there's nothing like touching and feeling the real thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Toulouse attracts a lot of people. One of the routes that is the most popular is Paris to Toulouse. That means Airbus attracts a lot of customers. As you said, there are 1,000 visits a year here. There are a lot of people. So to have the 220 here means a lot, because there's no production line, there's no aircraft. So the only way to see it was only in one facility before in Mirabel, now also in Mobile in Alabama, US. So to have it here, it gives an international visibility. So we're pretty proud that now it can be used. And there's always curiosity. People come in here to see another aircraft, and then they see the 220. I don't think I've ever came into a situation where someone didn't want to see it. They all are curious, and it's great. It feels great to show it now that all the products under one roof.
I think we should say that one of the airlines also that's ordered the A220 is Egypt Air.
Egypt Air, yes.
Egypt Air.
Apologies to Egypt Air, yes.
And just for those that don't know, what is the difference between a Dash 100 cabin and a Dash 300 cabin? Is there a difference?
There's nearly not. Actually, both share 99% commonality, and that's the reason why we were able to deliver both of them on the same year with only 6 months apart. So they share a lot of commonality. Yeah, there are a few things that are different because the aircraft weigh a little more, so there are some reinforcements in the landing gear, for instance. But they're nearly the same, and the fuselage is about 4 meters longer, I think.
Right.
Don't quote me on this one.
There's one question, again, there's no name, but they're asking, can the current A220s be retrofitted with the cabin that we've just seen?
The cabin that you've just seen is what's flying right now. So what you saw in the aircraft is real. It's not mock-up parts, it is production parts. So that's the beauty of having a real aircraft, is you can use real engineering drawings and put it together. If we talk about just the seats and everything, yes, that can be changed really easily. We made our cabin very modular as well. So for a lessor, that's something that's great, because if you look at the installation of the monuments that are installed in the cabin, for instance, they're installed on seat tracks. So it's really easy to remove and reconfigure. So yeah, people were quite happy.
And let me see if there's one other question. I think there's a lot of interest in how a single aisle cabin can feel so spacious that you have to be reminded that it's a single aisle.
Mm-hmm.
How is that possible?
Well, that's possible when you start from scratch. Really, we designed the cross section with people in mind. You know, like if you look at aircraft that were built in the '60s. Passenger experience was not necessarily a thing, so we would prioritize other things, aerodynamics, for instance. But when we started the 220, there were, of course, aerodynamics, fuel burn, a lot of things that, range that we put on the plate. But passenger experience was also at the heart of the design, and that's how we achieved this, is to cleverly think of the people that are on board. Because if you really think about it, the only part that makes revenue is the cabin. So you better have your passenger happy. So that they want to fly again with you.
Sure. Christine, I think we've gone through all the questions, but before we sign off, I just wondered, is there anything you'd like to add about this beautiful aircraft?
I'd like to say thank you to everybody that worked on this project. It is great to finally have all the products under one roof. I think now we can say we're a true family, because all the aircraft are under one roof. So thank you to everybody. And I'm hoping to hear about your personal passenger experience, because I'm biased, but the A220 is the best.
Christine, I agree with you. Thank you so much for your time and answering all these questions. And for our journalists, I hope you've enjoyed the time, and I hope we covered some of the questions that you may have wanted answers to. Thank you for having joined us, and until the next time, and hope to see you traveling as soon as possible. Let's put it that way. Take care.